everyone? Well, I'm doing a video here of how to change out the valve cover gaskets on a 2002 Lincoln LS, the V6 3.0 engine. So pretty much you could refer to this if you're looking to change the PCV valve, the PCV elbow, or the upper and lower intake manifold gaskets. This is pretty much going to get you almost there. Now, a few things to note when changing the valve cover gaskets on the Lincoln LS. You want to pretty much have the workshop manual, because it gives you step by step, and that's what I have in front of me. So what they're calling for is silicone gasket and sealant, as you can see this number right here, the FZAZ19554 EA or equivalent. Now it needs to be equivalent to this number, the WSE-M4G323A4. Now when I went to the store, I just bought regular RTV, red, high temp. I just thought that would, that pretty much would cover it, no big deal. Wrong. You had to look into this. The ultra black Permatex, that's going to be covered under this equivalent, and it's going to actually, it has this number when you bring it up at the parts store. This number was within the specs. Now actually it wasn't on the back of the box. You have these CAS numbers, but this WSE number wasn't on the back of this, so I had to have them look it up, and it did come up when they looked up the gasket for the vehicle. It actually comes with a tube of this. Before that, I didn't know that because I bought the Felpro gasket off of Rock Auto, so pretty much it covered that. Now the reason why is it's sensor safe, and there's some issues with the O2 sensor being compromised. Not the O2 sensor, but the MAF sensor. Okay, and someone's calling me, so we're going to go ahead and skip to the video and just get started here. Alright, things first, I disconnected the negative battery terminal. I actually took the battery out because it's pretty cold out here and I didn't want it draining. So we're going to drop the coolant. So first thing you want to do is undo this and set that to the side here. And you're going to go down here on the left side. If you're looking at the car this way, head on, you're going to come down here, and that white oil drain plug right there with that tube coming off it, that nipple, that you're going to just turn that counterclockwise and your coolant's going to fall out. I'm going to save the coolant, so I have a gallon jug here to catch the coolant, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. As you can see, I cracked that plastic nut, and this gallon jug is just catching all the coolant so I can reuse it. Step while the coolant is draining from the system. As you can see, a degas bottle no longer has coolant in it. I'm going to go ahead and start taking off the air cleaner, or the air intake. I'll take that off. I'm going to take this off, and that's not that hard. All you do is just get that off, take that off one at a time, your connectors and all that, and then we'll move forward. Step while the coolant is draining from the system. As you can see, a degas bottle no longer has coolant in it. I'm going to go ahead and start taking off the air cleaner, or the air intake. I'll take that off. I'm going to take this off, and that's not that hard. All you do is just get that off, take that off one at a time, your connectors and all that, and then we'll move forward. As I'm taking things off, most of these bolts are going to be 8 millimeters, 8 and 10 millimeters. Now what I'm going to do is start marking with this pen, just a squeezy action marker. My friend actually is bringing me a white Sharpie. I'm just going to mark one. I'm going to label 1, 1, 2, 2, just so I know where to come back and plug everything in. Little tip. Took the air inlet cleaner tube off, and next we want to take off the throttle cables. And like I said, it's going to be 8 millimeter and 10 millimeter. These are 10 millimeter. screws here are bolts. So you're going to take out these without dropping anything. Okay. Alright, and then what you want to do, let's see, is take a screwdriver, stick it right in here. And pop your throttle cable off. This one, you have to pull this one, okay? And actually you can't pull it unless these bolts are off. So pull that off, which I already kind of did. That's why it came off easy. Alright, and set these to the side over here. So after I've taken the throttle tube or the throttle cables off, what I want to do is take off all 4 of these hoses that go into your plenum here. So I'm going to go ahead and work on that, and then the bolts that you want to go ahead and remove to get the plenum. There's a few different bolts that you have to get out of the way after you get those. Now the first is going to be that nut, okay, and you're going to have to get some kind of I'm not sure what size it is, but I have a big adjustable wrench that works for that. And you're also going to need to get that nut right there, which is the bracket holding on the throttle body, and then there's going to be a plenum bracket bolt, which it's that one right there, as you can see. So remove that one, remove that bolt, take all these off. You can undo your EGR valve here because that's going to come off with that. Okay, and we are going to actually also have to take off this trim so we can get our hands back in here, and we're gonna have, in order to do that, since this doesn't have a cutout, we're gonna have to take off the windshield wipers as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and all that is just these bolts, and you do that, you pull these up, you can take these off real easy, and I'll show you what it looks like when we come back. Alright, so I've taken all 4 hoses off of the throttle body housing. Now, yeah, I haven't labeled these because I know where they go already, but like I said, when you take them all, I think you can see where I labeled them before, but that's the exact problem I had the first time I took it off. This rubbed off, so I don't know if you want to use something else like a white Sharpie. That's what my friend's bringing me, but he hasn't showed up, so I'm just going to take it off because I do remember where they all go. So I've taken all 4 of those off. This is your PCV, which, you know, goes in there. You really don't need to label this because it's the only one with this connection that goes all the way back down here, and this connects to your PCV valve. Okay, that. So that just pulls out. That pulls out. You can set this whole assembly aside, and this is going to be like the first thing you take off. So just, you know, you can just set this aside. So what we're going to do next, in the meantime, while I was waiting, I went ahead and took the coolant. This is what I could salvage, almost a gallon, which it looks pretty good, so I'm going to keep it. So what you can do is you can go back to that 19mm nut, and you can tighten that up. Don't over torque it because it is a plastic nut. So go ahead and tighten that down, and you can drop the car. I just had it up on stands just to make it a little easier, not stands but a jack, so you can lower it and then tighten it, make sure it's tight, and then you won't have to go on the bottom of the bay again.